First world problems is having a full wardrobe of gym clothes and having nothing to wear to the gym and keep justifying buying new gym clothes because it adds to my motivation to train, and thereby it adds to my long-term health, and thereby I am becoming a more healthier person, and thereby it's girl maths and it's free. It is time to pick a gym outfit because we are going training upper body and I am going to bring you with me. You guys absolutely loved my talk through glute session, so I just want to show you how I'm also training upper body from my new hybrid training program. So as you know, I am incorporating running into lifting and I am balancing and maintaining both. Well, that's the aim and that's the goal for now. So we will see how it will go, but we are training upper body. We're gonna have to pick something to wear out of all the clothes that I have yet nothing to wear. But let's be real, you know, when I first got into the gym 8 years ago, my sole purpose was to be small, to be skinny, to be lean. Like, all I cared about was weight loss. I didn't even consider any other benefits of the gym, of training, of exercise outside of looking a particular way, and especially losing weight. I would be up all night looking at YouTube videos and Googling through articles on the best exercises to spot reduce my belly pouch, or to have lean legs, or to have a thigh gap. And then I would go into the gym and try to replicate them, and for a week or two I would feel fantastic, but then I would just get really demotivated and frustrated because I was seeing no results. To my surprise, that's not how it works, but little did 17-year-old Martina know. Guess what? Strength training has a shit ton of benefits that go beyond body composition, go beyond weight loss or fat loss. That was something that got me into the gym, so I'm not dismissing it as a reason to get started, but the reason why I kept going for 8 years, it's definitely not to look a certain way. So today, not only I want to bring you through my workout and give you a glimpse into how I train to look how I look, but also give you some of the reasons why I do it, because it's not solely to build a certain physique or strive for an aesthetic goal. With any of my workouts, I begin by a dynamic warm-up to ensure that I am ready and prepped for the session and my heart rate is elevated, and I'm also mobilizing my muscles and my joints. So we're training upper body here, and I'm using a long resistance bands to do some shoulder dislocators and really warm up those shoulders. I then move on to an exercise called IYTs using a 1.25 kg plates, and again I am warming up that upper body and priming it for my first compound movement. The last part of my dynamic warm-up are body weight or DLs, because the first exercise that I'm going into are deadlifts. So although this is upper body focused, I still want to make sure I'm warming up those hamstrings. First exercise of the workout is a compound exercise, barbell deadlifts. A top tip if you're doing any lower body exercises such as deadlifts, squats, hip thrusts, is to take off your shoes or wear flat sole shoes. This will allow you to really ground your feet into the floor, which means that you can press against it and generate more force. I have 4 working sets of the deadlifts, which are going to be performed at 70 kg, but instead of jumping right into a 70 kg deadlift, I use 2 to 3 sets to warm up and build up to that weight. While yes, the deadlift is a lower body exercise and primarily targets your lower body, it's also a pulling movement which targets your back, and hence why it's in my upper body workout. Now, as you can see, I'm going into my working set and I'm using lifting straps, and lifting straps have been a game changer because they allow me to lift heavier without my wrists and forearms and my grip giving up on me, because obviously my back and my legs are a lot stronger than my tiny wrists, my forearms and my grip. Pulling movements, whether that's like deadlifts or any of like back exercises, lifting straps are a way to go. Next up we have barbell overhead press, and honestly guys, this is such a humbling exercise for me because I'm going from a 70 kg dumbbell where I'm loading like 3 plates aside to putting a 2.5 kg onto a barbell. But if you've ever done this, it is actually so difficult, or I find it so difficult. But I'm starting off with 20
25 kg here, and I'm pushing the bar right above my head, keeping my body as stable as possible. I have increased to 30 kg, which is such a win for me, but this primarily targets your shoulders. And I am slightly bending my knees when the exercise is getting a little more challenging towards the end range of the reps, just to help me a little bit. But for the most part, I do want to keep my body as stable as possible, and I do that by squeezing my glutes and squeezing my core. We are onto a superset, which are 2 exercises performed back to back without rest. So the choice of my 2 exercises here is a cable bicep curl, and that is paired with a cable tricep push down. With the cable bicep curl, I want to take a shoulder width stance, about squeeze my core, and I'm keeping my elbows as close to my torso as possible, so the upper part of my arm is pretty much staying the same, and I'm only using the lower part of my arm to bring the bar right up to my chest and controlling the weight on the way down. I got my tricep pushdown set up right beside it, so I can move straight from bicep curls to tricep pushdowns. Here I'm using a rope attachment, but same principle applies where I have my elbows tucked into the side of my torso, and then I'm only using my forearms to push down the weight and contracting that tricep, controlling the weight on the way up. Next up, we have another superset. So as you can tell, I'm very efficient with this workout. When you're doing superset, you're increasing time under tension, but you're also reducing the amount of time you have to spend in the gym. So if you're a busy gal and you don't have that much time, then pairing exercises together not only increases the intensity, but it also saves you time. So the first exercise of my superset is a single arm lat pull down, and here I am focusing on driving my elbow towards my hip. And again, same principle, I'm keeping that upper body arm and my elbow as close to the torso as possible, and I am pulling with my back as opposed to my arm. So I'm thinking of bringing that shoulder blade back and bringing that elbow down into my hip. And straight away I move on to a seated cable row. Again, this is set up on a pulley machine. You could use a machine for this, but I'm using a little box for my feet that I can push up against. I'm keeping as stable as possible and only using my elbows to drive the attachment towards my chest and controlling the weight on the way back. As I pull, I'm also squeezing my shoulder blades together. And the last exercise is a cable pullover. So this is an isolation exercise for your back. You want to hinge at your hips and be sort of diagonally to the ground, and you're using your elbows to pull back, pull that rope towards you, but you're driving the elbows towards your back pockets or into your hips. And again, just as with the seated row, you're squeezing shoulder blades together as you're pulling the rope towards you.
First of all, let me just say that there's nothing wrong with going to the gym to change the way you look. This is what got me into the gym in the first place. And if I didn't have an aesthetic based goal, if I didn't have the goal of losing weight, I probably would never have gotten into the gym. I don't have regrets, but it's not what kept me going. It's not why I am in the gym 8 years later. I needed a bigger why. And that why is interconnected with the reason that strength training brings, and why I believe that every woman should do some form of resistance training. But let's just debunk the fitness myth that you can spot reduce body fat, okay? Because that's what I've been doing when I was trying to get into the gym in my fitness journey, looking up exercises that target specific muscle groups, such as how can I get lean legs, how can I get abs, what exercises to do to target those areas and to lose fat from those areas. There is no such thing as spot reduction of body fat. Every single exercise burns fat. Whether you're actually going to achieve weight loss really just depends on your approach to nutrition, because you can be training as much as you want, and that's one of the mistakes I've done. I was in the gym 7 times a week, and yes, I was getting small and skinny, but the gym was not the result of it. It was what I was doing with my nutrition. So if you are eating more calories than you're burning, despite being in the gym 7 times a week, you will still struggle to lose weight. And on the other hand, what I talked about in my the mistakes to avoid to grow your glutes, if you're not properly fueling your body, then you're gonna have a hard time to see any major changes in your body composition, struggle to put on muscle, not even in your glutes, like just overall. So we're debunking the myth that there are exercises that specifically target fat loss from specific areas, and we need to take into account that nutrition and other lifestyle habits like stress and sleep play a massive role on this. So now let's get into the reasons on why I continued with the gym for 8 years, consistently for 5, because the first 3 years were just like a bumpy road of starting, stopping, not having an absolute clue what I was doing, but I'm still here, I'm still training, and I'm still really enjoying it. So strength training brings so much benefits. It's so powerful. If you want to be able to walk up the stairs freely, if you want to be able to carry your own groceries when you're the age of 70, when you want to be like flexible and in general just functional and move as you do now, then you need to have strong muscles, strong bones, strong joints, and this is what resistant training gives you. So by definition, resistant training is any movement that makes your muscle contract under an external object. So that the external object can be like dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance bands, or even your own body weight. Essentially just doing something that requires your muscles to continually be challenged. What happens when you strength train or resistant train? You're putting your body under force, which breaks down tiny muscle fibers. When you recover, those muscle fibers grow bigger and stronger. Strength training is even more important as we age because we lose the muscle mass. So in order to maintain it, then we need to engage in some form of resistant training. I've done an episode on secrets to balance hormones. Actually, I've done 2, which you can also check out on my channel, basically going into the tips on what you can do in your everyday life to have increased energy levels, better mood, be able to achieve your fitness and health goals a lot more smoothly. And one of those secrets was to engage in strength training because it has a direct impact on many hormones. Where I found that it had like a very positive change on my life was my mood and my mental health. And there is a link between strength training increasing dopamine, which is our feel-good hormone, and thereby it also increases focus and productivity and being sharp. It also has an effect on serotonin, which like helps us feel calm and allows us to be able to like manage stress better too. What strength training also does is that it increases our metabolism. The more lean muscle mass we have, the higher our metabolism, and higher metabolism means that we can burn more calories at rest, which means we can eat more food and are able to utilize those calories from food better. So for me, it's a win-win because I'm a foodie. So I would rather be able to like consume more food because food is also energy, right? Like it provides me the fuel for training so that I can go in and feel powerful, empowered and strong and not like deprived and low on energy. So having more lean muscle mass, having that higher metabolism is honestly just such a great positive. And another reason why I keep engaging in strength training is that it improves my sleep, and that is another hack that literally plays a massive role in hormones. It governs master hormones such as cortisol, leptin and melatonin. So actually prioritizing my sleep has been like one of the key pillars that I focus on in terms of like optimizing my health and well-being, and strength training has been complementary to that. Having good sleep and being able to have balanced levels of cortisol, leptin and melatonin means that I have better adherence to my nutrition and also better adherence to training, that I can put in more intensity and effort into my training sessions and thereby actually see better results physically. But yeah, strength training has been just so much more to me than just looking a certain way. It honestly just makes me feel healthy. It makes me also feel at ease knowing that as I age, I have a higher chances of being able to be self-dependent. And I actually got my mother, who is 48 years young, to begin strength training with me, and it took me a while, okay guys? It took a lot of persuading because like many women, she had that belief that strength training is just gonna make you look manly and bulky, and honestly she was allergic to muscles. she always says to me, I do not want to look like you, Martina. And look, don't get me wrong, she doesn't mean anything by this, but she just likes to have like a slim and confined to the beauty standard physique. So she was afraid that if she starts to engage in strength training, that she's just gonna look like bulky and manly and have a lot of muscles. Guys, unfortunately, that doesn't happen unintentionally. I wish it did. It takes a lot of fucking work, okay? It takes hard training and intentional diet and nutrition strategies to be able to like put on a substantial amount of muscles. Us as women, we have 17 times less of a hormone called testosterone, which is responsible for muscle growth, than men do. This is why men tend to look more muscly and bigger, because they have a higher ability to pile on that muscle. And this is not to say there aren't women who also have like high levels of testosterone, but usually the women that do look like they have muscles and they lift, it's very intentional, believe me. So for me, strength training as a woman is a necessity. Even now that I'm getting into running, I don't see myself giving up strength training, and this is why I am working on being able to balance both, because I do enjoy a physique where I actually look like I train, and I think having muscle is sexy, and that might not be the opinion of everyone, but like it's just what I enjoy. So I still want to maintain the physique that I have while improving my cardiovascular levels. So that's where the mixture is coming into play. But yeah, I just don't think I will ever be able to give up resistance training because of all the benefits that it yields. And just a quick one, if you have yet not subscribed to the channel, please take a second to hit that subscribe button, because it honestly means the world to me, and it indicates to me that you actually are enjoying these videos and I can produce more of them. And this is all from me for today. I shall see you in the next video.